Hey folks, man, this is Monk, and I'm joined as always with my co-host Cornelius, aka Evil Corny.
What's up?
And we are back with another episode of From the Canopy Film Show, and we're here to review some films, and we got a lot on deck today, folks, so I'm going to just go ahead and get it started. And my first one is going to be a 2024 horror mystery called Exhuma, and in this film, the process of excavating an ominous grave unleashes long hidden secrets and dreadful consequences buried underneath. And this film is directed by Jang Jae-hoon. Is this Korean? I think so.
Yes.
Starring Kim Go-eun, Lee Do-hyun, Choi Min-sik, and Yoo Hae-jin. Those are the main stars in this film. And what did you think about this, Cornelius?
Really enjoyed this film. It's pretty much a group of ghost hunters, or like one of the guys is like a necromancer, not a necromancer. He's a geomancer. He goes around and could kind of pick areas of land and stuff that that are cursed. In this film, it's they get employed by wealthy Korean family that has like a curse on their firstborn sons. It's pretty much a team of four. It's a woman that's like a shaman. She's paired with another shaman. Geomancer, and the other guy is just an assistant to the geomancer, I guess. But they go find this this grave, and to kind of clear this curse. And it's a little bit more to it, but they come in contact with the spirit that's cursing the family. It was one of the family's elders, and it just goes from there. I don't really want to spoil this one because it's a lot more than them just investigating. But overall, I just think that this is a form of Ghostbusting that I wouldn't mind seeing again. And I wouldn't mind this group doing a sequel. Investigating another haunting or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, that is interesting though. That it's they're going after haunted lands. You know what I'm saying? That's an interesting concept.
Yeah,
and not necessarily like a haunted building or a house that we're used to seeing, but that's kind of crazy.
Yes, it's like a family curse and everything. And the guy, I guess President Kim, he is like a business owner and stuff, and it's his grandfather that's supposed to be the cause of the haunting, and it just goes from there. But it's real different. It's real interesting to see how like exorcisms and stuff happen outside of like Christianity, Christian culture or whatever. The different means that they go trying to get a spirit away from clear a house or family or whatever from a spirit or an item or whatever. I just think that's real interesting. But like normally with Christians, you get a priest and they get holy water and Bible and all that stuff, start throwing scriptures at things. But it's a little bit different in Asian culture. This kind of reminded me a lot of The Wailing, but it might be. I wouldn't say it was a better film, but it's a different type of Korean haunting. So yeah, okay. But I really enjoyed this.
So my next one is going to be Tell Them You Love Me. It's a 2024 documentary film. In this film, Anna Stubblefield, an esteemed professor, becomes embroiled in a controversial affair with Derek Johnson, a nonverbal man with cerebral palsy, that eventually leads to a criminal trial challenging perceptions of disability and the nature of consent. This is directed by Nick August Parna. And interestingly enough, I started this. I didn't quite finish it, but I kind of got the gist of where the controversy of the story was, and it's pretty wild, So you've got people who are essentially not really able to take care of themselves. They have various disabilities. A lot of it does, boil down to mental disabilities, but this particular subject in this film, he has a mental disability, but also on top of that, cerebral palsy. So he's pretty much nonverbal, and he needs, care 24/7. And, this controversial educator has seemingly came up with this system she's invented to be able to facilitate them to be able to communicate a lot better and more thoroughly, she claims. And that's where the controversial comes in, because she also takes this a little bit further than a teacher-student kind of thing, and has an affair, with this guy. And it pretty much goes from there. Now, I've seen a lot of reactions to this that kind of piqued my interest before I knew what it was. And they were like, tell me you love me. This is so crazy. I didn't know what it was about. I thought it was one of these crazy Netflix Tyler Perry type relationship crazy movies, and then learning more about the story is kind of like, whoa, this is nuts.
Yeah, it was really a messed up film, because you really don't know that guy's the guy she's having an affair with. You really don't know his mental capacity at all.
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
he's like, well, I'm thinking of I'm blanking on the astrophysicist's name that was in a wheelchair.
I was about to mention him. That guy. Yeah. Let me see.
That is bad. Where I any other time I would know his name, Machiavelli's name.
Stephen Hawking.
Stephen Hawkins. Yeah. Stephen Hawkins had, I guess, MS, and or whatever. And he was, he started off like normal, and he just went in decline. And he had his mental facilities, were just I think might have
there,
been
but
there.
Yeah,
and, he talked with one of those keyboards just like this guy is talking.
Yeah.
But
I think he uses his mouth to kind of make phrases that he wants to communicate. But he's forming sentences and full thoughts and things of that nature. It's not like, like with this guy's a little different. They're asking him questions, and he's having limited ways to respond to those questions. Is either like yes or no, and that's kind of a little weird, because I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. You can kind of see where Stephen Hawkins, was always there, but
we got history of Stephen Hawking being a highly functioning, highly intelligent person before his disability kicked in. So there's that too.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying. I think that this is a situation of somebody taking advantage of somebody. When they're, being handicapped, even though it's sexual, it's kind of a messed up, real messed up.
Yeah, that is weird. Like, cause I don't know, dude. I even finished it, but just like I said, I got the gist of the setup. I didn't see where it eventually went. I know it says there was a trial and subsequent, things that emerged out of it. But yeah, I gotta finish it, man. But it is a wild story, bro. Like, it's one of these wild ones, man. Every now and then Netflix comes up with one of these documentaries that kind of takes over the public's interest. And this is definitely one of those, man. So the next one is going to be The Exorcism, man. This is a 2024 horror thriller. In this film, a troubled actor begins to unravel while shooting a horror film. His estranged daughter wonders if he's slipping back into his past addiction or if there's something more sinister at play. This is directed by Joshua John Miller. It stars Russell Crowe, Chloe Bailey, Ryan Simpkins, Sam Worthington, Adam Goldberg, and Adrian Pasdar. And I will say this, man, I usually kind of stay away from this Exorcist kind of stuff, but the premise kind of sucked me in a little bit. It's one of them days. This is probably the only new movie that was coming out this last week or whatever. So, and I had already seen the Bikeriders from the Monday mystery movie. So actually, the Bikeriders was the big film last week, and this one, but pretty much, Russell Crowe plays this down and out actor, man. He seems to have had problems with alcohol and drugs, and this is like a comeback role for him. And interestingly enough, what appears to be happening here is this set is totally haunted, dude. Like, for whatever reason, they kind of allude to that, because this is definitely a remake of the original Exorcist in this film. so it's kind of crazy. And one of the characters alludes to the fact that anytime, someone's made one of these kind of films, there's been, weird stuff that happened on set. I think there's a couple documentaries with films like this that have had, weird happenings, supernatural stuff happening, during the production or unexplained events. And this thing is no exception, man. Whatever this entity is that's taking over the set, it makes a beeline towards Russell Crowe's character here, and it doesn't stop, man. So with that said, man, I thought the premise was cool, but it quickly loses steam, dude. It does have a really slow start, setting everything up. But about 30 minutes into the film, the coolest thing that's ever going to happen in this film happens. It is a really good scene. It's one of these moments where you're like, whoa. And it happens in front of the whole crew, cast and crew. And I always kind of drawn to films that are kind of a film within a film or a film about making a film. I think that could be done really well when done. Can be fun when done well, but this one, after that, man, it never reaches that height again. Okay. It's just ass, dude. It's like even the fact like they could have had anyone playing this. I feel like maybe Russell Crowe's just getting the money now, but it's crazy because he's got Gladiator. Nah, is he in Gladiator too?
Oh, he's not in Gladiator 2.
Nah, he's not. I thought they ain't bring him back. They ain't bring him back. I thought they were talking about bringing him back. Some shit, But yeah, like I don't know, man. It feels like he's trying to get this paycheck, get this money for this role, and even the other cast, they're good. Everyone's good enough, but I just think the material just doesn't go anywhere, man. It's one of these films where, like, it looks great, like I said, up until that moment, but then it's just like you see the flaws in this thing, man. Like and mostly coming with scripting, plot development. Like it's just. Like the conclusion is kind of doesn't even make sense, and you don't even know you don't even figure out. It doesn't even explain why this thing got haunted in the first place. I feel like when you see a film like that, that's kind of what you're getting to, or a ghost story or something. You're trying to figure out the nature of the haunting. Like, why is the spirit here? Why is the spirit unsettled?
One of the things about this film, I hadn't seen it yet, but I just assumed that this was a sequel to the Pope's Exorcism.
See, that's what a lot of people thought too, man.
Okay, that's,
Because he's been in 2 films in 2 years about exorcisms.
Yeah.
So he might as well do a third and just get it over with, man. Just make us a trilogy. So yeah, but I don't know, man. I didn't find much joy with it. A lot of people too will agree with me. Once I saw it and checked out the reviews, I was like, oh, damn, this is like, and you know what's crazy too? It's one of them, it's short. This is 90 minutes, man. But
really?
By the end, you're just like, man, what the hell was that? Like I was like, man, it's just, and you see some people in there. It was one other guy in there with me, man. And it was interesting because I was kind of glad he was in there. It was like, just in case it did get a little spooky, but man, I feel like he had the disappointed walk when he walked out too, like.
You kind of glad I was the second person in there, just in case you were in there.
Just in case you got a little. But it never got to that, yo. I was just more like, everything was so predictable, man. The jump scares, the weird noises, and it never tapped into what could have made it great, in my opinion. If you got a choice to see this, I would just wait to watch it at home. You're not going to miss anything by seeing it on your TV screen versus the theater. It's not that kind of film. Next one I've got is going to be Inside Out 2. And in this film, joy, sadness, anger, fear, and disgust have been running a successful operation by all accounts. However, when anxiety shows up, they aren't sure how to feel. And this is directed by Kelsey Mann, includes the voice talents of Maya Hawke, Ayo Edebiri, Lisa Lapira, Tony Hale, Amy Poehler, Paul Walter Hauser, and Louis Black as well. And what did you think about this, Corny? Because I didn't see this one.
I really enjoyed this film. Inside Out isn't my favorite of the Pixar films, but I think this was a good sequel to the original. Riley has new emotions. She has anxiety, envy. I want to say NEU is one of the new emotions, and I think awkwardness might be the other. Kind of guessing. Sorry, people.
There's embarrassment, anger, nostalgia. I think those are
embarrassment.
Joy, fear, disgust.
In there. Yeah. But anyway, it pretty much does what the original does. Riley's going into high school and she's playing hockey, and she's made some friends in I guess middle school, but going to high school she's going to lose. Those friends are going to a different high school, so it's just her kind of inner turmoil in a way, or just having to cope with the events and just anxiety and stuff. Kind of for a while there, kind of takes the best of her, but she's trying to prove herself to a coach and the girls on her new team that she'll be playing hockey with in high school. Like I said, it was a dilemma just like the original. When she had in the original, she moved from one town to another and then she's gonna have friends and stuff. So it was just her coping with that. In this one, she's going to a new high school and losing friends and everything, and she's coping with that. Overall, I thought this film was very good. I did see it in 3D. Effects were real good. It's a fun story, but I just think this is like Herman's Head, Disneyfied or whatever. But it is a fun film.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. Because I hadn't seen the 3D glasses in my theater in like a long time, and then when this opened up, I see boxes like lying up where they taking the tickets at. I was like, damn, I don't even think they played Godzilla and Kong in 3D at my theater. At my local spot, maybe the AMC did, but not the Regal. They was like, man, we skipping that. But
that's how I saw Godzilla Kong. I saw that in 3D. And I saw something else in 3D this year.
Yeah. But I think this one, that 3D helped boost these ticket sales because we were talking earlier. Inside Out 2 is the #1 movie in the world for 2024. I think they're at 748 million right now. And it might be our first $1 billion film of 2024. Like, I think that's could be done by them, man. Another couple strong weekends, and this will, they'll knock it out the park. I think.
Have you bought the Deadpool tickets yet?
Nah, I don't pre-order no more, man. Like every time I go, especially the times I go, which is usually them Thursdays, my schedule's clear enough where I could go and catch that first showing in the day. So, and there's usually plenty of seats in there, so I haven't done that in a long time. You know what I'm saying? And to be honest, I haven't had to since pre-COVID Marvel. Like, honestly, like I remember that first I messed around one day and that first I think the first Endgame was sold out, bro. But luckily they had another one that would start like a half hour later. I was like, yeah, whoo, because I was definitely trying to avoid spoilers, bro. I was like, you spoilery motherfuckers. So, yeah, man. But I don't think anything real big is gonna happen with Deadpool, but I just can't wait to see it, and I really what's going to happen, and I don't want to spoil. My oldest nephew, he's the only one of my my sister's kids that wanted to see it. So, and my sister doesn't really care for but she loves the MCU, but she doesn't care for the X-Men and stuff like that. So, I was going to take my nephew to see it, and I got mine at his ticket, and that's going to actually be in 3D. So I really can't wait to see that in 3D. All right. Let me see. Let's get into this next one. So the next one I got is going to be called Black Barbie. This is a Netflix documentary, I believe. It's on Netflix, right? Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
So in this film, when the filmmaker's 83-year-old aunt, Beulah Mae Mitchell asks, why not make a Barbie that looks like me? The story of the first Black Barbie begins. It's directed by Lajuria Davis, and this film is pretty much the history of Barbie, Mattel making the first black Barbie doll, from what I understand.
Not only that, they kind of cover like black dolls in general, because at one time you could only get white dolls, and there's a company in California that the people that started Mattel gave money to for a black business startup to kind of produce black dolls. I didn't take notes and forgetting the name of the company, but it was in Los Angeles, and they didn't mind having some of the Mattel's people to help them get started. But
that's cool.
To me, it was kind of like a history lesson, just how how toys were made. Toys were made like I guess 50 years ago, that you just didn't have, you really have that representation, in dolls and stuff, and I guess with boys, we weren't really playing with action figures back then until, like, I guess G.I. Joe came out, and they didn't go into anything like that. But I really just thought this was interesting that, the one time you just had, white dolls, or you make your own type dolls. That I just really thought it was interesting. And then it just went through some of the people that, like May was like she was working on the assembly line, and she just pretty much was working at Mattel most of her life. From there, it's a woman named Kitty Black that ends up being one of the first designers of Barbie or whatever, and created the first Black Barbie. And it just went from there, and just showing her life, and showing some of the obstacles. They didn't really. The thing is, when I was watching this, it didn't seem like they had too much resistance on, getting this stuff done. At least they didn't speak about it, but I just think it was interesting that Mattel gave them a chance, and kind of profited from having these, dolls of color. And it just doesn't stop at the Black Barbie. It's different representations and everything of Barbie and everything.
That's interesting, because I think there was a similar story of how they ended up getting that that Sunman figure. I think it was a person that was working at Mattel, and He-Man was real popular at that time, and they had a kid that was like, "Yo, I want a figure that looks like me." And I guess she went up to the bosses and got them to start that Sunman line. That I don't know if they were actually in the stores. They might have got to the stores, but I remember them being in like the Ebony and the Jet magazines in the back. You could mail order like Sunman, and then it was kind of cool of them to make those characters officially part of that He-Man universe. And I'm kind of wondering. Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if Kevin Smith will ever get around to like maybe throwing in Sunman and hit that character into that those animated series that he's working on. That'll be kind of cool.
Yeah, me too. But that you pretty much know Mattel let them do that because it's in the same mold and everything, as the He-Man characters. And for some reason, I want to say I had one at one point.
Yeah, they just reissued Sunman and all the other smaller figures, and I actually got two of the Sunman. They're still pretty cheap right now. If you want to scoop one on Amazon, just for the they got it for like $12. Sunman.
It's not the big Masters of the Universe line, though, is it?
No, they're the regular size though. They're just as big as the original action figures were.
Like Grown Man Collector, or whatever you want to call it. Like the Black Series version of those. I know some of those, like Mattel, He-Man toys and like Silverhawks and Thundercats.
Yeah. Actually, you can get them for like right now $9.99, bro. But he had because he had his own Sunman, but he also had his own buddies, kind of like He-Man did. Yeah. And but they also look like they got a super another version. I guess this looks more sleeker, like the Masters of the Universe Masterverse version.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, the Masterverse.
Stuff. So Masterverse is kind of cheap too, but the original one that's more like the old He-Man mold. They got that too, man. That's the one I got. I like the OG. He's kind of cool. That's the one I always wanted, man. I always ask, give me the Sunman. Me and my cousins looking at the Sunman. This look cool. Get us a Sunman. Man, never get us no Sunman, man. I resented that. All right, so let's see. This last one we got.
You handed a round man and told you it was told to have fun.
Yeah, right. Oh man. Let me see. So, all right, let's get into this last one. It's going to be the Bikeriders 2024 film. And over the course of a decade, a Midwestern motorcycle clubs evolves from a gathering place for local outsiders to a sinister gang threatening the original group's way of life. It's directed by Jeff Nichols. It's going to be starring Austin Butler, Jodie Comer, Tom Hardy, Michael Shannon, Boyd Holbrook, Happy Anderson. And we also got, what's my man's name? Daryl Dixon pops up in this thing.
Norman Reedus.
His name that quick. Norman Reedus. Yeah. and some more people, man. But for the most part, this is one that I saw. Mystery movie, so I got to see it like a week before it, a few days, maybe like 4 or 5 days before it premiered. So, which is kind of cool. I saw the poster for this, and I just didn't really know what to think. I think I saw the trailer a couple of times too, and I was like, I don't know. But for the most part, I kind of enjoyed this thing, man. I think it does a decent enough job of telling its story. I thought most of the performances were really good. That was one of the bright spots, especially Jodie Comer's character as Kathy in this. She's kind of our Henry Hill style narrator of this film. She's giving us voiceover and explaining things as it goes along. It just kind of it's just cool, man. It's just one of these people they just feel like that character. You know what I'm saying? That I couldn't picture her doing anything else except being Kathy as I'm watching this thing play out. And her point of view is kind of cool because she's kind of a square, living a square life. She doesn't, this is all new to her, man. These guys' lifestyle, the element that they bring to the table. So she's kind of a fish out of water, but in a way, she kind of quickly adapts, to what's going on here for the most part. And it kind of has this sweeping because it's covering like a decade, although it doesn't feel like that long, dude. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you got that feeling. It didn't seem as that long of a period, to me, but
how time, I don't know. It just seemed like a long week or whatever when you kind of look at it.
Maybe a few months or a year. It felt like a year.
Yeah, and this was a 10-year period, I guess, a little under 10-year period. From the mid '60s to the mid '70s. It's like nothing really changed in that time, and not the characters. With the exception of Tom Hardy, he was the only person that looked like they aged during this. During
a little bit. He got a little bit whiter.
Yeah, what were you gonna say?
He got a little bit whiter on the edges, like his hair, but yeah, they all kind of look the same. Like it's hard to tell. Nobody
really looked like they aged at all, and it's. Like I was telling you before we started, it kind of reminded me of like a Terrence Malick type film, like Tree of Life, or let me think of one of the ones, like Badlands or something, to where you really don't know what it's about, but it just started off at a certain point and it ended at a certain point, and you really don't. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. Visually, it's a cool film, but overall, I just don't.
It's just kind of dreamy, like at times where it's floaty. Whereas I feel like with something like Goodfellas, you had specific points to reference, like there's a certain heist, that there's just certain daily goals. Henry goes to jail, and there's I feel like this is lacking the background on a lot of these characters that I think would have probably helped take it over the top and explain, because it's weird because they're just a motorcycle group. They're hanging out riding bikes, and all of a sudden they're heavy deep in the crime, and there's no in between steps to getting to that.
But events happen in this, but they don't really hit you that hard, in a way, because.
The first event, the first kind of friction is maybe it looks like a Sunday meetup in the neighborhood, and they're beefing with these guys, and next thing you know, they're sharing beers with them, So it didn't even seem that doesn't even seem that serious. So then, how do we get from that to maybe the next time something goes down, they're killing people, they're burning down a bar? It's just it's like whoa. Like they're playing for keeps now. It does get a little weird in that regard, but I was able to overlook it. Like the pacing of it is a bit slow though. Like what is this thing checking at? It's like 2 hours, I think, or let me see. 1 hour 56 minutes. Yeah. Okay. So even with that, it just seems like there's no urgency to get this story out of here. There's a lot of times where we're lingering or we're having just inconsequential banter, and it's generally good because the performances are good, but there's a lot of stuff here that's like, okay, like we don't really need to hear that.
Like I said, it reminds me of something like Terrence Malick would have made, and it's pretty much told almost like you're watching Dazed and Confused in a way, but it's no real big events that really happen other than a couple beats.
Even the violence doesn't seem fit at all times because, like, later on, after it's done happen a few times, but that first time something really violent happens, I never got the idea that it could get that serious with these guys. It comes out of nowhere in a way. And then, then you're primed for it. But I don't know, man. But besides the knocks, man, like I said, I really did love these performances, man. Jodie Comer's character, she goes in deep, like with the accent. Tom Hardy's accent, man, I love it, dude. It's nuts, it's crazy, and like this guy, I really love watching him act, man. There's a film he's in, called I think was that The Drop. I think it was The Drop with him and Gandolfini, and he's good in there. He's kind of playing He's kind of playing a character in there that's just kind of like a little bit slower than everybody, but he's still kind of smart. But it just comes out, he just comes off with like a little. And I love the fact that he could put nuance.
Causes impaired in that film.
Yeah. But you realize he's still pretty smart. But it's like he has this habit of being able to put these little ticks in his characters and the roles that he portrays that really makes them interesting, man. I love watching him act, and I think this one is also like what helped set it up because it's nutty in a way it shouldn't have worked, but he's able to pull it off, man. Like I love that one scene where the chubby dude with the beard challenges him. And he's like, yeah, so he want fists or knives. Like it's just so weird. Yeah. It's just he's just like unbothered, yo. I'm like, dude, like knives? Like what are we doing? Shit. Like you could die over this, man. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like it's a film that's like right now, I think I got it at a 3.5. I almost gave it a 4 if it wasn't for some of the directorial choices, but overall I did kind of like this thing, man, and I will probably sit through it again, knowing what to expect now. It'll probably play a little bit different, but I'm not mad that I saw it, man. I think it was a cool slice of this reality. It could have been more, but for what it was, I think it was worth my time, in the theater.
I agree with you. I didn't hate it. It's just one of those I'm gonna have to rewatch. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's one of those I'm going to rewatching. But I do want. I'm real interested in reading the book that this is based on, just to see what these guys' lives were like and everything. And that kind of paints a portrait of them at this time, but it really doesn't. Other than surface, you really don't know anything about them. Mm-hmm. Is that how you feeling about this?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I think it just scratches the surface, and that's where my biggest problem is. It's like, damn, dude, this could have been so great. Like especially with the time that we put in. But I know it's already getting the Goodfellas comparison. But I think just because of the narration and the nature of it, it's kind of a similar story, man. I mean, we see the rise, the beginning, the middle, and the end, of these group of guys. I just think it's not as detailed as that film was. Yeah, and maybe putting really, more detail in would have boosted it.
Yeah, and other than Jodie Comer, I think she's the only main character, but you really don't know, other than her hanging with the gang, you really don't know anything about her, really, other than
nothing.
Yeah, I don't know anything about her.
How do you know her job before? It's weird, man. It's just wild as hell, man. Like a lot of stuff is just left off that I think would have provided, been really interesting to, include in the film, But I would say check it out, man. If you get a chance, just be prepared. It is a little bit slower pace, but I think it's solid.
Yeah. I agree.
But yeah, man, I think that's it, folks. Anything else you want to mention before we get out of here? We got what's the name open this week? Quiet Place, the beginning. I think something like that. The first day or whatever, day one. What is it? Man, I'm really hyped for this one though, man, because I love all these films.
Lupita.
Lupita
Nyong'o.
Yeah,
I really like her. And,
so this is what is it? A Quiet Place, day one. Yeah. So I think this is going to be similar to part 2, but in the sense that we're seeing it in a different environment. It looks like, I don't know what city it is. It's a big city. Is it New York City?
I can't tell if it was New York or Chicago.
Yeah, it might be Chicago. Okay, here we go. Yeah. New York City becomes under attack from an alien invasion. A woman and other survivors try to find a way to safety. They soon learn that they must remain absolutely silent as the mysterious creatures are drawn to the slightest sound. Director Michael Sarnowski. Co-written with Sarnowski and Krasinski.
Okay.
And this budget is pretty low for what I've seen on the screen so far. $67 million budget.
I don't think the other ones were that big of films, but they were real. I really like both of those films.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but this looks bigger in scale though, with it being New York City.
Yeah,
so just surprised that they were able to keep it low like that. At least, especially from what we've seen in the trailer. Looks like some really big action pieces are going on. But yeah, I'm hyped for this, man. So yeah, I'm really excited for this one. I'll be there. Yeah, so far it looks like we got Lupita, Joseph Quinn, Jamin Hansu, Elijah Ongavri, and Alex Wolff in this as well.
Jamin Hansu is like in everything.
Yo, we got to get to work, bro. They been shortchanging him all his life. My man's got to stay busy to pay them bills, man. I think he made a statement about that recently. Like, especially the guy that's coming off an Oscar nomination, he should have had a much better career. You know what I'm saying? Bigger. Yeah, man. Also, want to say, that was the guy that passed away today, man. Boom. I gotta look this up real quick.
I know Donald Sutherland died a couple of days ago.
Yeah, that's crazy too, man. So Donald Sutherland passed away. And yeah, that's crazy, man. Crazy career, man. Legendary. It's some of my favorite movies, man. And was still working, up until this point, man. Like that guy's like, his resume is ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
There was something I watched recently. He's in a movie with my uncle, man. He's the evil warden in Lockup.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he plays the evil warden. And I remember me and Bob was kind of making fun of that role. And I was like, dude, like, it's like he didn't really have much to do in that movie, but just being there to serve those mean, stern looks, and like that's all he had to do, man. He's that good. Like, it wasn't like, you know what I'm saying? He's good enough. He just give you that look. It's just like, like if Morgan Freeman or Fishburne stare at you a certain way, or Denzel, he's just like, boom, like we're in, you know what? I gotta do it like this. So let me see. The other guy, he's been in a lot of stuff, man. Let me see. Boom. I know he was definitely the guy that shot Nino Brown in New Jack City. Bill Cobb.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. This guy's been around so many damn movies, man. Like, it's crazy, dude. This guy's career, man. He passed away today at 90 years old, man. Damn, dude. He's been in so much shit, man. Even they got him on Bodyguard credits. I think every genre of film ever made, this guy has been in it.
I know he's like one of the cops in the future in Demolition Man.
Yeah. It's so much stuff, man. Let me see if I can find some stuff real quick. Bill Cobb, Wikipedia. Yeah, dude. Damn, it's almost crazy, bro. His birthday was 9 days ago, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he's born in June 16th, 34. Passed away today in 2024. Filmography, damn. So his first film credit is the Taking of Pelham 123 in the 74, the original one. Grease Lightning, Hero Ain't Nothing But a Sandwich. Yo, classic stuff, man. Silkwood, man. That's a notorious film. Who's that? Meryl Streep, Kurt Russell, Cher. Wow. Trading Places. He was a bartender. Like, this guy's, his film blueprint is crazy, man. Brother from Another Planet, The Cotton Club, Color of Money. This is crazy, man. This is one of those degrees of separation careers. You know what I'm saying? New Jack City, People Under the Stairs. Wow.
Yeah, that's...
Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead. I love that movie. Buckwheats. Ghost of Mississippi. Oh, he was in Air Bud. I still know
Air Bud.
Yes. That makes him a legend just for that, dude. That's crazy. He was Coach Arthur Chaney in Air Bud. He's also in a film called Lost. Dang, so we're in the 2000s. Boom. It's Hard Luck. That was a good movie, man. I like that movie, Hard Luck. That was crazy.
He was the I guess the drummer, Dale Paxton in That Thing You Do.
Yeah. This dude, man, it's crazy.
That's one of the ones where
Bodyguard, Demolition Man. Yeah, man. And probably he's got some TV credits too, man. So he played in The Muppets in the 2011 The Muppets. Boom.
That's a good film. If nobody's ever seen that, I think
is that the one who's in that? That's
it should have been Jason Segel in it.
Yeah. Night at the Museums. Yeah, man, it's crazy, dude, man. Rest in peace to these guys, man. Hopefully nobody else goes that we know. Rest in peace, wrestler Sika and Kamala fame from WWF. As it was called back in the day, he's also the father of Roman Reigns, so he also passed away. So maybe that's our trifecta this time. I think he's passed away yesterday. He was 79, man. It's crazy. But yeah, I think that's it, folks, man. We're gonna be out of here, and we're gonna catch y'all next time with more film reviews. Make sure you like the channel, subscribe, turn on notifications. You know what I'm saying? And we'll be back soon. Catch me at Monkey Blood on Instagram and Twitter.
I'm Cornelius Bros. I'm on Facebook, Cornelius Bros. On Instagram, Cornelius Bros. On Twitter, at Cornelius 1976. It is Twitter, not X.
Okay.
Yeah, because it'll never be Black X. And also, I'm on TikTok at Cornelius 1976. So I just watch videos and shit.
That's what's up.
While it's still around, you know.
All right, so we're gonna be out of here. We're gonna catch you next time, and yeah, have a good one.